Hi everyone. A couple weeks ago there was a tag video that was made by a number of different people that I wanted to participate in. A couple of guys didn't tag anyone in particular, just whoever was watching and wanted to do it. I don't think I got tagged by anyone in particular. If I did, thank you for doing that. I'm sorry I missed your video. But this is basically about a dozen questions in which you answer them and then you tag someone else. That's like the last question right here. But it's called Diary of a YouTuber. A little bit about your YouTube history. So that's what I'm going to tell you a little bit about. From October of 2006, that's when I first started. That's when I first signed up for YouTube anyway. And the very first YouTube video I ever saw was, I'll include this in the description below, the link to the video. A video called RoboCop versus the Terminator. Basically, it was just one of those editing exercises where a guy takes footage from like 2 or 3 different RoboCop movies and a couple of Terminator movies and a few other movies sprinkled in there and cuts them together in a way to make it look like RoboCop and the Terminator are fighting each other. Very clever. I laughed my butt off when I first saw it. It was such an amazing thing that they did. So yeah, that was when I started watching YouTube. After that, of course, I sought out videos with some regularity. And after watching about, a year or two of vlogs and people just sort of sounding off on whatever, I decided, I really have some stuff that I'd like to put on YouTube of my own. So I posted my first video in November of 2008. I got a flip camera much like the one I'm using right now. The sound on this one is better, fortunately. My older videos are a bit quieter. But yeah, I started posting videos and started talking about movies, and it was probably a whole year before I really found other movie people on YouTube. If I had actually sought out people who were also making videos about film in general, I probably would have gotten an audience more quickly. But I didn't think that far ahead. I just said, I'm going to put my videos out there and people are just going to find them. And not many people did until I actually started subscribing to other people that talked about movies with some frequency. In 2009, I basically did an entire year of my favorite movies of the previous decade. And then ended with a contest on, so what do you think my favorite movie of all of the whole decade is? And I didn't get a lot of views on there. But over the course of the following year, 2010, then I gained quite a bit of viewers. I don't know how many people are watching me now. I haven't really checked recently to see how many subscribers I have. I think it's somewhere around 800. I really don't know. But yeah, I've never been one to really sort of say, follow me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram and all this stuff and subscribe and everything like that. I've done contests to encourage people to subscribe, but I didn't really want to be pushy about it. I figured, hey, if people like my videos and want to keep watching them, they'll subscribe. I don't necessarily need to insist on it. So there we are. Although I do mention, of course, that I have a CineRam Facebook page. Since the Google Plus thing happened with all the messing up of the comment board, I invite people to go over to Facebook to comment instead. That's just how I've been doing it. Question number 1 was, when did I start being a YouTuber? Question number 2 is, when will I stop? And I don't have a date in mind, really. I thought that if Google Plus, since I haven't switched my main channel over to Google Plus, or at least I did, but then I reverted back again, because what happened was initially all of my notifications were going to another Google email account that I didn't even have access to. I didn't even know what the address was. I had no idea. So I said, cancel that. But now they've made it a requirement. In order to send messages to other people, to comment on videos, you've got to be on Google Plus. And I have a feeling that when people will say search for a random review, and I've done one, that my particular video, if I've done one, isn't going to come up very quickly because I'm not on Google+. It may not even come up at all. I'm not really sure. I could check on that if I signed out of my account and into a different one. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have any plans to stop altogether. There are times when I'm not enthusiastic about it, and I think everybody goes through that. Everybody goes through a period of going, gee, I really don't feel like making any videos this month. I don't have anything in particular to talk about. I've got other stuff going on. And I certainly have other stuff going on right now. I'm looking for work, and as the months progress and I still don't have work, it's getting very worrying. And so I go, gee, I don't really, necessarily really want to make videos about movies right now. I've got other stuff on my mind, but I'm not stopping. I'm not planning on stopping. There's more movies to see before the end of the year. I'd like to be able to make videos and talk about them after I see them, if I can afford to do that. I just saw Gone Girl recently, and I'll probably make a video about that at some point. But yeah, I'm not planning on stopping. It's just a matter of, there's ebb and flow. You know, everyone goes through that, I think, on this. You know, I've been watching people that were posting videos like every single day, three times a week, and now they post like maybe once every 2 weeks. One of my favorite YouTubers is Gianariella, and she lives in New York, or I think maybe she lives in New Jersey and works in New York. But she used to post videos constantly, and now she just posts them once in a while. But I'm really super excited every time I see a new one by her. Question number 3, what's the best thing about YouTube? Just all there is to see. There's so much to see on YouTube. I mean, you find videos about anything, you know? I mean, even if you're only interested in film in particular, and movies and movie collecting, there's still so many people doing those videos. I mean, you could just keep on watching forever. And all the stuff that isn't necessarily about movie collecting, of course, there's an infinite number of videos out there about a whole range of subjects. Sometimes if I come across a channel or I come across a video I particularly like, that's a whole series, I'll spend 3 hours watching, you know, practically every single video in that series. I know it seems like kind of a waste of time, but, you know, you just sort of get in the habit of just like, here's another video on the same thing, here's another one. Geez, you know, these are fun. So yeah, that's, I think, the best thing about it. And the other great thing about, of course, is that if you've got a camera, you can put a video on YouTube under your own account without it costing, you know, a membership fee or anything like that. And you can talk about whatever you want to, and you can connect with people who are interested in the same stuff. I mean, it's a great way, of course, to meet people who have the same interests in you. You know, that's one common thing that I've heard about, you know, people that are doing this video diaries. Like, I didn't know anyone that was interested in the same stuff as me, all these fringe horror movies and stuff like that, all the collectors and what have you. I don't know anyone in my town. None of my friends do that. But I found all these people on YouTube that do it, and now I'm friends with them, which is great. The worst thing about YouTube, for me, it's this Google Plus thing. You know, it's such a pain in the neck. In order to comment, I've got to basically switch accounts to comment on other people's videos, or even to comment on my own comments. The comments that I get on my videos, it's just a nuisance, you know, and the fact that we've been forced to accept Google Plus or you know, are deprived the privilege of commenting is just stupid. It's an asshole move on Google Plus's part. Other than that, it's great. I mean, I can't think of many drawbacks other than that. Of course, there's the copyright thing. That's a problem. You know, I'd like to be able to post anything that I like on YouTube and not have it be taken down for copyright. For example, I've done some compilations of scenes from movies. It's like I would devote a 2-hour VHS tape to all these different scenes of people like doing car chases, nothing but car chases for 2 hours. And I'd love to be able to upload all that onto YouTube, but you know, it's all copyrighted stuff, and it's okay for me to talk about movies, but not necessarily to actually put the clips on there myself. So I don't. You know, at the most, I'll basically shoot a few seconds of video from off of my flat screen, not do a direct transfer of footage. But yeah, I'd like to be able to post, you know, compilations and montages and things like that. So many of my favorite YouTube videos have been like montages and compilations and what have you that are put together by really skilled editors, and they get taken down after a few months because they've got material in there they're not supposed to use. I'm just like, what's the big deal, you know? Yeah, it's against the law, but still, it just seems like kind of a nuisance. Now, here's the interesting thing about thumbnails. What thumbnails do you take? You know, how many thumbnails do you take for your video? And I don't actually take thumbnails. I'm provided with 3 thumbnails from the video I do, no matter how long or short it is, always 3 thumbnails. And I just choose one from there. I know there's a way to do custom thumbnails. I don't bother with that. You know, I mean, some of the custom thumbnails I've seen from people I know are kind of scary. People just giving really weird looks to the camera as they hold up their DVD case. I'm just like, not for me. Yeah, I figure if none of them are really all that good, I'll just pick, you know, the one that's the least bad of the lot. But yeah, the thumbnails, I'm hoping that people will look at the title of the video and say, ooh, that's something I want to hear about, rather than look at me and go, well, that's a really interesting, strange-looking guy, I think I'll watch him. I don't know. I tend to think that what I say is a lot more important than how I look in my videos, as you can tell. Yes, it's definitely more important. So yeah, I just look at the 3 thumbnails that I'm provided with when I finish uploading a video, and I choose one of them. Number 6, name your YouTube crush. Oh, I've had a few of them. I've had a few of them over the years, and I really wouldn't have mind, selecting one or two of them to meet in real life. One that I feel comfortable talking about is a girl named Lori who was on a collab channel, and it was well, she's gay, really. I mean, but she's such a delightful person. She's constantly sharing. She isn't really making videos anymore. This is what I mean about some of my favorite people. They're on there all the time, or they're posting every week, and then suddenly they're just gone. I don't know what's up with that. I know she was planning on getting married, but she hasn't made a video in so long. And the collab channel that she was on isn't really producing videos anymore either. Suddenly they just stopped one day. But she actually made it to Chicago at one point. I made a video about this. This was in 2009. She came to Chicago. She was here for a street festival, and I just happened to run into her. I was there. I thought, geez, if she's tweeting her location, maybe I'll get to run into her. And it's not like I was looking to score, okay? She's a lesbian, I had no chance there. But still, I managed to run into her just by chance. Got to say hi. Yeah, and there's been a few like that. Gina Riella, the lady I mentioned earlier in New Jersey, she's also, someone who I fancy a little bit. And, I won't lie and say I had never subscribed to a person on YouTube simply because I found them attractive. Because, yeah, I have, actually, a few of them. But for the most part, yeah, I'm a sensible YouTuber and subscribe to people because I'm interested in what they have to say, not just, how they look or what they're wearing, how much cleavage are they showing, that kind of thing. Who's your favorite non-movie fan YouTuber? This is sort of the second part of that same question. That's not an easy question to answer. A lot of the times I end up just like drawing a blank on that kind of thing. I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot that I've liked and who aren't on anymore, and there's a few that I like that are on now. Boy, it's tough. That's a tough question to answer. Philip DeFranco is somebody that I watch pretty regularly. He's probably the most famous guy on YouTube that I watch regularly. There's a few people like Shane Dawson that I don't watch that are more popular than him, slightly more popular. But of the people that are actually the most well-known YouTubians, that would be Philip DeFranco. He does a show like 4 times a week. Yeah, I don't know if he's my favorite, but he's one that I watch regularly. So yeah, I have to say that technically, yeah, he's a favorite. Question number 7, who is on your collab wish list? If you could make a collab with anybody on YouTube, well, Gines, first of all, Gina Riella, and LunariaClair, and Jim Gesriel, who is my favorite YouTube movie reviewer. And here's a guy who I'd never even heard of before until I saw his YouTube diary, Darren Lock. His YouTube diary was amazing. It's longer than any of them. It's like over half an hour long. But he's great. A really, really funny guy. And so I'd love to partner up with him on some collaboration. And of course, the individual who was collaborating with me back in 2010 but left YouTube, V-Rose Be Happy, who I've had the pleasure of hanging out with in person a couple of times. Would like so much for her to come back to YouTube and us to partner up on videos again. Yeah, that's not happening. But that's my wish list. And there's other people that I wouldn't mind, would be nice to collaborate with. But those are like my 5 favorites right there. Question number 8. What's below the frame? What am I wearing below my waist? Jeans and socks right now, pretty much, or I'll wear shorts if it's warmer. But no, I don't do my YouTube videos bottomless. There was a naked vlog thing that happened a few years ago. That's actually how I found a couple of the more attractive women on YouTube. It was like, oh, I watched their naked video, and then I just kept watching them with their clothes on. Somehow they still stayed quite attractive. What are your feelings on the YouTube community? That's question number 10. What are my feelings on the YouTube community? Well, obviously there's a lot of various communities within YouTube. You've got your collectors, you've got your horror movie fans, you've got your straight reviewers, and those are just the movie people. Then you've got music people, you've got art people, you've got skateboarding people, you've got people playing video games and talking. Well, those are like some of those popular. You've got people who are amateur musicians and aspiring professional musicians. You've got people that are editing montages and supercuts and what have you. You've got people doing political discourse. You've got people that are talking about Christianity. You've got people talking about Islam. You've got people who are talking about free thinkers and non-believers. You've got people who are talking about their cars. People are talking about cooking, makeup, everything under the sun. These are all little individual communities. And I think this question might refer to simply, how are your feelings on the movie fan community? And I'm like, that's great. I'd love to be able to talk with people about movies that I see. I don't come across many people with the exact same taste as I do, as I have. For example, I was doing one of those hangouts, one of those live hangouts, and I happened to mention enjoying The Expendables 3 more than Guardians of the Galaxy, and the other guys went, "What? What's the matter with you?" Nobody, of course, we're all individuals. Everybody has slightly different tastes than every other person out there. And that's just how it is. But we can agree on a lot of stuff. We can disagree on plenty of it. But it's nice to be able to just hear other people's thoughts on stuff. And I've gone through periods of just watching every single review under the sun, and now I'm just cut way back on my review videos. Of course, when Gone Girl came out, I watched a bunch of those videos just because I wanted to hear how people thought about it. But of course, most of them were spoiler-free reviews, so I didn't really get to hear that much. I don't know if that answers the question or not. Question number 11, what's the secret to a successful channel? And that depends on your definition of success. For me, it's simply this. I'm not in this to make money. I just want to be able to recommend movies that I like to other people and share my thoughts and maybe some trivia about films that I've seen or films that I'm learning about. But other people would define success as having tons and tons of people watching them every single week and making dollars off of it. And if they're doing that, that's great. I don't know what the secret to that kind of success is. I really don't. I think one of the key things in there is to start your vlog channel in about the year 2006 and then build your audience to 2014, and after 8 years you'll have a really large audience. I didn't bother doing that. I waited about 2.5 years to get underway with my videos, and then I didn't really seek a huge audience. I just, I thought if there's a small number of people that are watching my videos, what's really important is that they like them. That's what's important. And I've tried to, even, when I'm going, oh gee, I really wish I had more viewers. I did a video back in August where I basically took a whole bunch of little pieces of music, like a couple of lines from several different songs, and sang them on camera, and then put this whole video together. And it took way more work than usual. And hardly anybody seemed to watch it. I mean, maybe the view count's gone up since then, but I really haven't seen that many comments on it. So that was kind of disappointing, that I put all this work into one particular video, much more so than usual, and hardly anyone seemed to notice that I even did it. Yeah, so that was a little, I was unhappy about that, and I wish more people would see it. Not that I'm saying, hey, you got to, because it's the greatest video ever. I'm not a professional singer. It's just something that I thought would be fun, and, there you go. I was actually planning on doing a series of movie monologues where I'd memorize and recite 10 monologues from different films that I really enjoyed. I had such a hard time picking the actual 10, though, and some of them ended up not even being monologues. They were just like one character speaking, taking all of his lines from a scene and condensing into one monologue. That's not really a monologue. So I never ended up doing that. Not that I would have trouble memorizing some monologues, but some I would. Anyway, it's just something that after the musical video, after the singing video, I thought, gee, if I spend all this time memorizing all these monologues, is anyone really going to be interested? I mean, is it worth putting that much time into a video if no one is really going to pay attention, or very, very few people? And sometimes I just say it's maybe not worth it, like the singing video. Or some of the other stuff that I've done. I've been wanting to do a contest again for a really long time. I just don't think that many people are paying attention to what I'm doing to make it worthwhile. The last time I did a contest, it was a big success. I had 11 people basically contribute ideas to it, and then a whole bunch more people voted on all those ideas. It's been a while since I've done something like that, and I think, again, the fact that my channel is not a Google Plus associated hurts its visibility. Yeah. I sort of say to myself, I'm content to just kind of talk about whatever it is I'd like to talk about. If I'm compelled to do a video, if I'm inspired to do a video, I'll do one, but I'm not going to force it or anything like that. Especially since only, it seems, a small number of people are watching, despite the fact that I have 800 or so subs. I keep getting subs. I get notifications, actually, on my email saying I've got new subs. And, I see them every few days or so, which is great. I'm really glad that people are watching me, even though I'm not all that big, or at least interested in watching me. The final question here, number 12. Tag someone who you would like to see do this. I know Shannon has done this already. I know Claire has done this already. Boy. I really should have thought of this before I actually started recording. Darren's already done it, of course. So is Luke. Forkerball. James has done it already. I hate to do this, but I'll just tag whomever. I'll just say, hey, if you're watching and you want to do this, then go ahead and do it, and I'd like to see it. I might have had some people in mind when I first saw the video 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I don't now. Sorry. Like I said, unlike the singing video, I don't really prepare a great deal when I do videos like this. I just sort of have the questions here, and I just talk off the top of my head rather than plan it, except, of course, for my collab wish list. Those I wrote down. Those I wanted to make sure I got those in right there. But no, I'm not going to tag anyone in particular. Just if you feel like doing it, that would be nice. So, thank you for watching. There's my YouTuber diary. Diary of a YouTuber, I think that's what it's called. Although I prefer the term YouTubian. I think it's more fun. But if you haven't, of course, seen my Facebook page, my CineRam Facebook page, the link is in the description below. And I'll seek out the other diaries. And put the links to them in the description. However many of them I can find. Thank you for watching. This has been a really long video. I appreciate it. Thanks very much. See you again soon. Bye.